been nearly 4 decades since Neil Armstrong took his giant leap for mankind, if, that is, he ever set foot off this planet. Doubters say the US government, desperate to beat the Russians in the space race, faked the lunar landings, with Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin acting out their mission on a secret film set. Let's explore those 10 moon landing conspiracy theories. Number 1. The waving flag. Conspiracy theorists have pointed out that when the first moon landing was shown on live television, viewers could clearly see the American flag waving and fluttering as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin planted it. The obvious problem here is that there's no air in the moon's atmosphere, and therefore no wind to cause the flag to blow. NASA claimed that the flag was stored in a thin tube, and the ripple effect was caused by it being unfurled before being planted. Other explanations involve the ripples caused by the reaction force of the astronauts touching the aluminum pole. Number 2. Lack of impact crater. Had NASA really landed us on the moon, there would be a blast crater underneath the lunar module to mark its landing. On any video footage or photograph of the landings, no crater is visible, almost as though the module was simply placed there. The surface of the moon is covered in fine lunar dust, and even this doesn't seem to have been displaced in photographic evidence. NASA maintains that the module required significantly less thrust in the low-gravity conditions than it would have done on Earth. The surface of the moon itself is solid rock, so a blast crater probably wouldn't be possible anyway. Number 3. Multiple light sources. On the moon there's only one strong light source: the sun. So it's fair to suggest that all shadows should run parallel to one another. But this was not the case during the moon landing. Videos and photographs clearly show that shadows fall in different directions. Conspiracy theorists suggest that this must mean multiple light sources are present, suggesting that the landing photos were taken on a film set. NASA has attempted to blame an uneven landscape on the strange shadows, with subtle bumps and hills on the moon's surface, causing the discrepancies. Number 4. The Van Allen radiation belt. In order to reach the moon, astronauts had to pass through what is known as the Van Allen radiation belt. The belt is held in place by Earth's magnetic field. The Apollo missions to the moon marked the first ever attempts to transport living humans through the belt. Conspiracy theorists contend that the sheer levels of radiation would have cooked the astronauts en route to the moon. Despite the layers of aluminum coating the interior and exterior of the spaceship, NASA have countered this argument by emphasizing the short amount of time it took the astronauts to traverse the belt, meaning they received only very small doses of radiation. Number 5. The unexplained object. After photographs of the moon landings were released, theorists were quick to notice a mysterious object in the reflection of an astronaut's helmet from the Apollo 12 mission. The object appears to be hanging from a rope or wire, and has no reason to be there at all, leading some to suggest it is an overhead spotlight, typically found in film studios. The resemblance is questionable, given the poor quality of the photograph, but the mystery remains as to why something is being suspended in midair, or rather lack of air on the moon. Number 6. Slow-motion walking and hidden cables. In order to support claims that the moon landings were shot in a studio, conspiracy theorists said to account for the apparent low gravity conditions, which must have been mimicked by NASA. It has been suggested that, if you take the moon landing footage and increase the speed of the film x2.5, the astronauts appear to be moving in Earth's gravity. As for the astronauts' impressive jump height, which would be impossible to perform in Earth's gravity, hidden cables and wires have been suggested as giving the astronauts some extra height. Number 7. The Sea Rock. One of the most famous photos from the moon landings shows a rock in the foreground, with what appears to be the letter C engraved into it. The letter appears to be almost perfectly symmetrical, meaning it is unlikely to be a natural occurrence. It has been suggested that the rock is simply a prop, with the C used as a marker by an alleged film crew. A set designer could have turned the rock the wrong way, accidentally exposing the marking to the camera. NASA has given conflicting excuses for the letter, on the one hand blaming a photographic developer for adding the letter as a practical joke, while on the other hand saying that it may simply have been a stray hair, which got tangled up somewhere in the developing process. Number 8. The layered crosshairs. The cameras used by astronauts during the moon landings had a multitude of crosshairs to aid with scaling and direction. These are imprinted over the top of all photographs. Some of the images, however, clearly show the crosshairs behind objects in the scene, implying that photographs may have been edited or doctored after being taken. The photograph shown above is not an isolated occurrence. Many objects are shown to be in front of the crosshairs. Number 9. The duplicate backdrop. The two photos from the Apollo 15 mission, shown above, clearly have identical backdrops, despite being officially listed by NASA as having been taken miles apart. One photo even shows the lunar module. When all photographs were taken, the module had already landed, so how can it possibly be there for one photo and disappear in another? Well, if you're a hardcore conspiracy theorist, it may seem viable that NASA simply used the same backdrop when filming different scenes of their moon landing videos. NASA has suggested that since the moon is much smaller than Earth, horizons can appear significantly closer to the human eye. Lack of stars. One compelling argument for the moon landing hoax is the total lack of stars in any of the photographic or video evidence. There are no clouds on the moon, so stars are perpetually visible and significantly brighter than what we see through the filter of Earth's atmosphere. The argument here is that NASA would have found it impossible to map out the exact locations of all stars for the hoax without being rumbled, and therefore left them out. Intentionally falling back on an excuse that the quality of the photographs washes them out, an excuse they did actually give. Some photographs are high quality, however, still no stars are shown. Certainly eerie, considering you can take pictures of stars from Earth in much lower quality and still see them. Far-fetched as the hoax theory may seem, a 1999 Gallup poll showed that its comparatively durable 6% of Americans thought the lunar landings were fake, and 5% said they were undecided. A whopping 89% think that moon landing was not a hoax but it was real.